You know that iconic spider pose. So here we are with the Spider-Man No Way Home Spider-Man Integrated Suit Final Battle Edition from SH Figuarts. I wasn't expecting to get this early, but I'm not complaining because this is one of my more anticipated figures of the year, along with all the Spider-Man. But taking a real quick look here at the box, it is kind of bland. Usually there's a lot more text on the SH Figuarts boxes, but I guess they're just keeping the Spider-Man boxes pretty simple. Just for comparison, let's go ahead and bring in the Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man box, and yeah, they're kind of following the same aesthetic here all around with the portrait on the side. This is like promo art, like digital renders of the characters, not the figures. And then you can see that the box is the same color as a suit, along with the golden spider. And then we have these smaller little portraits on the side, along with the names. But yeah, enough about the box. Let's go ahead and just get him out. Here's a quick little look at him still inside of his plastic shell. But man, look at how many accessories he comes with. We'll go over that later. Funny little side note, mine came with an extra eyepiece. For some reason, it was like just stuck behind the figure in the bubble shell, but you can see that the other two that come with it are there, and the two on the face are there, so I guess when they were packaging it up at the factory, it must have just fallen in and no one noticed. I'm fine with that. Okay, so just getting the figure out of the packaging, it's an immediate upgrade from the previous one. I'll bring it in a little bit here, but I just kind of want to talk about this one. They did such an amazing, like they always do on all the Spider-Mans that I've seen and owned, they did such an amazing job on all the details here. Everything's nicely sculpted. There is less texture than I thought there would be, but I get it, it's more accurate. All the panel lining is there, like on the black parts of the suit. All the sculpted in web lines are there, and everything kind of just looks very seamless. There is a lot of articulation cuts, but once you get everything in place and kind of shift and move all the arms, all the hinges and stuff, you get really solid looking figure. Right off the bat, I see a lot of people complaining. It's either, I don't really see it as an issue because it can be fixed easily, but I get if you don't have the figure in hand, you don't really know how easy it is to fix. Everyone always complains about this gap in the chest right here because look how exaggerated you can get it. You can get it basically cutting off the bottom of the logo. And in pictures, you're always seeing people complain about it. Oh, it looks so ugly. Why did they do that? You can literally just move it back and it's fine, and it closes up. Yeah, it's still noticeable, but it's an action figure. What do you expect? So going in a little bit closer to look at some of the details on the figure, like I said, there is some nice texture on the black parts here. You can see that web pattern on his hands. I think they introduced this in Far From Home on his gloves like that. I really like this, though, this texture. Again, the panel lines run up. On the back, there's the bigger golden spider, which again looks really nice. Going down to the back of the boot, he does now have his little heel pad, and then towards the front, there's some more little gold detail on the side. His little toe covers on the front has some more gold that goes down to the knees, and then he has the gold that runs down to his belt area, and then you can even see that these the posable butt cheeks, as people call them, have the panel lines continuing all around them, so that's nice. When I first started messing around with the figure, this red bit scared me. I thought it was paint chipping. I was like, how did I already do that? But it's on the other side. It's supposed to be there. I have no idea. I've never noticed it. Moving to the top part of the figure, here is what makes it the battle damage or final battle version is the scratches on the front of the spider, which honestly I wish they didn't do this, but I get it. They need to make some kind of difference to warrant a re-release. I guess they can't just say, oh, we messed up on the first figure, accuracy wise, let's just re-put this one out. So one problem that I did notice on my figure, and I think it's the only paint miss that I noticed on this thing, is right here on my left arm. You can see that the paint falls off of the raised line it's supposed to get on, because you can see on this other one it does hit that raised line. And of course the only place to do it is on the front, because on the back it hits it perfect, and then on the back of the one that is missing it on the front hits perfect. So just a small little detail. I didn't even notice it until I put it under this zoom, so I just kind of ruined the figure for myself, because I'm never going to stop thinking about that. Anyway, moving on to the mask, you can see I think it is, better proportioned. For some reason this main web line going across where his mouth would be looks a little funky to me, but I think I'm just not used to looking at this mask enough. But yeah, everything looks great here. They connect pretty seamlessly, sculpt wise at least. Obviously there's a big cut for the neck, but getting that in place, everything matches up nicely. One interesting thing I saw here was that there's an extra little red flap in here that gets, I can kind of knock it loose, I bet. Yeah, alright, I knocked it loose. It's just interesting that's even there. I'm gonna get the tweezers so you can see. I have no idea what that is for. I guess it's just an extra cover for the joint or something. Okay, I think what it is, looking at the box art again, is he's maybe supposed to have red armpits. You see like where this line goes up and his inside is supposed to be red. Maybe that's what it's for. Very, very strange way of solving it. So staying on the topic of sculpt, I want to go ahead and move into the accessories here, because I have a lot to say. And the first one I want to start off with is this, kind of the MacGuffin of the film, is the box containing the spell that's going to send everyone home when Strange activates it. I forget the name of it. It's honestly not that important, but man, this looks amazing. I kind of forgot this was going to be included because I was so excited to get that unmasked head along with the figure. But I think this might be my favorite part of the figure, like seeing it in person and seeing just how well sculpted everything is. Even though it's supposed to be, oops. So while I know it's supposed to be like, magic, mystical arts kind of thing, you're still getting these random shapes. It's just like random geometry that looks really cool. So the next accessory is going to be a little bit hard to show just because of how flat it is and how hard it's going to be to focus on it. So this is why you see Spider-Man standing over here, just to kind of keep the focus in one point. Anyway, this is sculpted a lot nicer than the other unmasked mask that we got with the Tobey Maguire figure, just because this one is a lot more clear where you're supposed to hold it up here, and it fits a lot better in, again, this same kind of grip hand that you can fit the box into. And I think they matched everything pretty nice, the sculpt size and color, and then the lens is a little bit shinier. You can tell it's obviously different since these are separate pieces that pop out and this has to be painted on the accessory itself. But yeah, no, it looks great. Another accessory that's going to be a little bit hard to show is the web. I'm only going to show one of them because they're very similar. The only difference is length, really. But they all are this transparent plastic, and they all have this like bunched up bits where it goes for a little bit, wraps around itself again. And these ones you just clip onto the hand when you put them back on the peg. Just for the sake of being thorough, I'm going to show you the rest of these in the box, and also just because I don't want to dump them out everywhere and risk losing one. So he does come with two lenses that are a little bit more squinted than his normal ones. He has two pointing fingers, two tight grip hands, two looser grip hands, two thwip hands, two open palm, and then two kind of wall crawling that are a bit more bent than the open palm. He does have this like little pry tool which is used to get this piece in, which is used for the Tamashii Nation stands that I actually don't own any because they usually only come with convention exclusives. And then he has an assortment of webs, the medium shoots, I'll call them the short shoots, and then this is his web slinging one. Now onto the accessories that I'm pretty sure most everyone cares about is the unmasked Tom Holland head sculpts. I'm gonna go ahead and zoom in here to talk about these. So for the normal unmasked head one, not really feeling it. It's very flat. There's like no life to it. And on mine, I don't know if it's just me, but it feels like this eye is printed too far to the side over here. If you saw my story, I said it's like his left eye is trying to run away, and I can't tell if it's just me or not. Yeah, man, something's off here. Let's go ahead and just take a look at the next one. So the next one is his battle damage, beat up when he's fighting Goblin right there at the end. And I gotta say, this one looks a lot better. I think what's helping it here is, one, that eye is in the right place, and two, there is like an overall spray to it, which kind of gives a little bit more texture. Obviously, this close up on it, it's gonna look a little bit ugly, but also I think the damage does distract you a little bit. It does fall in place with what I remember from the film, which I've seen it a few times, especially that ending. So, as far as I remember, this is how he looked. He had the blood on his cheek, definitely across his nose, and then I guess they just decided to just have a bunch of dirt all over his face on this side. But, yeah, no, this one looks a lot better. If I am going to display him without the mask, it's going to be this one. And then here's just to show you kind of what it looks like, a little bit pulled away, more what you're going to be looking at it, either in hand or on your shelf. So, it does definitely look better from a distance. Especially, I think, wow, that angle looks pretty good. So I guess it's time we talk about the articulation. It has everything that you'd expect from an SH Figuarts Spider-Man figure. First off, I think starting up here at the head would be a good place. There's kind of a ball peg at the neck, which gives it a little bit more up and down. Up isn't that good for what you think a Spider-Man should be. Also, my neck peg is really tight, so I need to adjust it and then put the head back on. But he only looks up about that far, which doesn't seem that good for Spider-Man. They're really relying on the neck here. Let's see. Oh no, wait, you can push it just a little bit more, but that's all you're gonna be able to get out of it. Down is really good. Down he looks all the way, or I think you can go a little bit more. Yeah, so down he looks all the way. As far as his torso, there is, I can just show you. There's a ball peg down there, and then ball peg up here. So with all of that, he can get that far forward in the chest, and then that far forward when you take in the ab crunch. Now, something weird I've noticed, I can't always get it to go as far every single time. Like, it's very inconsistent. Let me try and show you what I mean. Okay, so now I've gotten it to go that far, and there's obviously a very huge gap. I don't think it's meant to be pushed this far, but I was able to push it this far without it popping off. If I go any further, it will pop off, but I mean, it holds right there pretty good, and you can basically almost get 90 out of it. But then again, like I was saying, if you push it any further, it is going to pop off that ball peg. At some point, it's going to pop off, but I guess the most you could get is that much out of it, which is insane. I wish there was an easier way to get that more consistently, especially for pictures. Getting him to be crouched that far down and then looking up maybe for kind of web swinging poses is going to be pretty cool. So getting them all straightened out again, let's move on to the arms. The shoulders can go that far up. You can actually push it more. So you can go that far up. And then he obviously does have a butterfly hinge, which goes that far forward. Doesn't go back that much, but the way that SH Figuarts designs their shoulders is that you can basically, you can shrug with them, you can pull them down a little bit more, pull them out. Basically, yeah, you're going to be able to get them in any pose you want. Then there is a bicep swivel, along with a double jointed elbow, which goes up, that much. So you can really flex on him. He does have the typical ball joint at the wrist that we see on most of them. and you can either get it to go up and down, or you can reposition it and have it go in and out. Moving down to the hips, you have the beloved articulated butt cheeks, which allow him to go, oh, whoops, they're kind of stuck, allow him to go all the way forward and then all the way back, which, you know that iconic spider pose. And then he does have a thigh cut, which can go, I wouldn't push 360 because I've heard people popping off their thighs on their Spider-Mans if you go more than 360. But, I mean, that's honestly more than you should need, to get, I guess, maybe if you're going to get like a cross-sitting pose. Anyway, actually, before I forget, he does kick out this much, which isn't as good as some SH Figuarts, but honestly, that's pretty good for Spider-Man. He does have these double-jointed knees, which allows him to kick almost all the way up. I guess if you want to incorporate the foot in there, you can get him almost, well, he can reach up and kick himself in the back if you incorporate the hip movement. Down here, he does have a toe hinge, which goes up that much. Doesn't actually go down, which I prefer when you're not able to push them down. And then ankle goes that far back, that far forward, and then you can actually spin the ankle if you really wanted to. Correction, he can actually kick himself in the head if you really want him to do that. I think that's all I have to say on the figure as far as, sculpt and articulation. So let's go ahead and just get into comparisons now. I have quite a bit, so I'm going to blow through them. Here he is with the Mafik Symbiote Spider-Man, and then the Spider-Man and Carnage 2-pack from Marvel Legends. Almost forgot, here he is with the Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man from SH Figuarts. For some more Marvel Legends action, here he is with the Hobie Brown and Cyborg Spider-Woman from Across the Spider-Verse. Here he is next to the Ned Leeds and Peter Parker from the Ned Leeds and Peter Parker 2-pack. And then here he is with the live-action Venom, and then one of my favorite little head swaps I like to do is the Amazing Fantasy with the other head from the Ned Leeds and Peter Parker 2-pack. I just think this is a really nice combination. And just while I have them both out, here's the comparison between the SH Figuarts and then the Marvel Legends Tom Holland heads. And just to show him off next to one more action figure line, here he is with the Black Series Snowspeeder Luke, Black Series Stormtrooper, and Grogu. I almost forgot the most important comparison, him with the first integrated suit version, and whoa boy, I'm no words. I have no idea why I let myself buy this. Maybe just because it was cheap and I wanted an SH Figuarts Spider-Man and I was caught up in the hype of the movie. But man, I had never realized just how skinny this one was. Here it is from the side and from the back. So I still do really like the first version, and I'm really partial to it because it was my first SH Figuarts Spider-Man figure. But yeah, no, it's gonna kind of be like the old Naruto figures that they put out. No one's gonna want it anymore, unless of course you can get it for really cheap. Then why not? But I wouldn't pay any more than like $20 for it now that this version's out, especially because this is the cheaper $35 option when it first came out. Actually, one interesting note before we move away, I did try and swap these lenses. They changed the peg style that they use. This one just has like a straight cylinder, this one has like a half moon shape, so you can't swap them without modifying these lenses or the holes on this mask. I think I am gonna shave down these lenses to try and fit them in here, just because I like the little bit wider lenses, even if they aren't painted as well. I always just prefer wider spider lenses at any cost. So I might post that on my Instagram story later after I do the modification, but yeah. So yeah, in closing, it's a very, very solid figure, and it honestly should be for their second attempt at this suit. Now that they have proper reference and that the movies come out, they definitely knocked this out of the park, and it is the best No Way Home Tom Holland Spider-Man out there. I mean, as far as I'm aware, the other SH Figuarts versions are kind of whatever. Now that this version's been released with everything, you can kind of call this the definitive No Way Home version of this suit. That final swing version that they showed and then went up for pre-order, that one looks like it's gonna be pretty good. I swear, if they change the suit next movie after giving us like that perfect comic, Peter Parker doing everything by himself suit, I'm gonna be actually angry at a movie. So finally, I think this figure's worth it. SH Figuarts makes very expensive figures. They've always made expensive figures. These Spider-Man are more expensive for whatever reason. I think it's honestly the likeness rights that they have to pay, and also just everything you're getting, all the paint, accessories, that's really bumping up the price more than I think it should be. But at the end of the day, you're buying one of these, you're done. That's your Tom Holland Spider-Man. You're not buying the next version that comes out, oh, this one has an unmasked head, this one comes with this accessory, blah blah blah. I believe it's worth it. Again, that's kind of gonna all be up to you at the end of the day, what you're willing to spend on what. But enough rambling. Great figure, go get it if you want it. Definitely don't want to miss out on this one. Not that they're going to be limited or anything, but yeah, I think that's it. See ya.